It's so nice. Also, I hope the audio's okay. I real quick switched my mic from that new one that I stuck on just because I didn't like the audio from it, and I stuck my old one back on. So hopefully I place everything well and it sounds alright. Also, welcome all the new subscribers. I know the build series has brought in a lot of new people. So one, thank you for subscribing. Two, I make more videos than just the build series videos. Most of the time I make vlogs on the bike. Sunday I reserve for the build series that I'm doing, and then Wednesday and Friday are the regular vlogs. At least that's how I'm doing it right now. But today I wanted to talk about some news, and I don't often talk about like current event kind of stuff, but there's a little something that a lot of people are talking about in the motorcycle world right now, and that is the possible shutdown of Skully Helmets. If you're not familiar with Skully, they're a startup that made this smart helmet, and it kind of has the functionality of like Google Glass, the glasses that Google made that has a little glass cube, and it projects on like augmented reality kind of stuff with like directions and notifications and things like that. It's essentially that, but in a helmet. And then it has built-in Bluetooth and a rear-facing camera that also will show you behind you on the little screen thing. Kind of cool. Well, they've had a lot of issues getting this thing out to people. And a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't know about this until yesterday, the Skully board forced out the two founders, their brothers, Marcus and something Weller. I can't remember the other one's name. But they forced them out, essentially fired them. And there's kind of like mixed reports on why exactly they were forced out. Some say it was a difference in opinion for the direction of the company. Some say it's because they weren't managing funds well. Some say it's because of how they've managed the growth of the company so far. There's kind of conflicting reports. I imagine it's a combination of all of the above. But it came out yesterday on TechCrunch that apparently the company is making the decision to shut down. And this is kind of interesting because Skully isn't just a normal startup company. They actually raised funds through a campaign, through a crowdfunding campaign, you know, something like on Kickstarter, but they did theirs through Indiegogo. And so you have all these people who've paid for a helmet that may not end up getting a helmet at all. And that's completely okay based on how they raise these funds. Because a lot of people are complaining about this, but that's always how Kickstarter and Indiegogo have worked. They're essentially a donation. You're not paying for a product, you're paying to support a company in whatever they're trying to build or create. And you're not guaranteed anything. You're hoping that you get a reward for whatever you put into the company, but you're not actually paying for a product. The thing that sucks though is that the way Skully presented all of this was essentially these backers of the campaign weren't really backing some like high in the sky idea. It was that they were basically backing the first run of these helmets, that they already had something in hand and they were ready to go. And they actually did have this. Skully ran a beta program, and you can complain about that however much you want, where they had people essentially sign up to try the helmet. And I don't know how many people they actually let do this, but Chase on Two Wheels and I actually got to go out to San Francisco. They brought us out there to try the helmet that they had at the time, and it was just a prototype version, and we didn't actually get to ride with it. We got to wear it, we got to use the technology that was in the helmet, but we didn't actually get to ride with it. But we got a general idea of what they were trying to build. And I will say that what we wore was pretty close to production. It didn't seem like something that was just thrown together. It seemed pretty well made. But that was back in 2014, over 2 years ago. And now it comes out that they've only really delivered, I think, 100 helmets. 100 helmets for something that they had in hand 2 years ago. So basically people are trying to figure out what's the issue, why has this happened. Some people are saying that it's a production issue and they haven't been able to get a company that can mass produce these things, which seems likely. I think that's probably the case. But the biggest thing that I think people have a problem with, and that I've been seeing around the internet, is that Skully has just had terrible PR, terrible community relations. They just come across kind of like a slimy company. And I wouldn't necessarily say that they are. I just think that they've really, really poorly managed this opportunity. And I've always kind of been on the excited side of the spectrum for this thing. I really do think that this product is awesome, and I think the idea of this kind of technology will make its way into a lot of helmets in the future. But Skully has just sucked on managing this, not communicating why things are happening, running pre-order campaigns for these things constantly. It's just like, hey, we need more money, pre-order our product. I don't even think the pricing for something like this is really bad. That doesn't bother me a lot. So the helmet is $1,500, but of course you're getting the helmet, the Bluetooth setup, the rear-facing camera, the heads-up display technology, their software in all of it, and the app that they have. So when it comes down to it, it's not that far-fetched of a price, especially considering no one's come to market with something like this before. Through this entire process, since this thing was announced, people have complained about the price. And I understand that. People are saying, like, I would never pay that much for a helmet, which is understandable. Like, there are a lot of things that exist that people will say, I would never pay this money for this. But these things still exist. And with this, I think the pricing is actually fine when you take into account research and development for this thing, considering they're the first ones to really do this. And they built everything as proprietary technology, which is actually the thing that I more have an issue with. If you're going to do something like this with proprietary technology, you have to do it 10 times better than you could ever do with something that's open source. Like, they have mapping functionality built into this thing. Like, you can use the map, you can put in where you need to go, and it'll show you directions on a little heads-up display. But it doesn't look good. And it's not using Google Maps or any other mapping software that someone would prefer to use that has better functionality, takes into account traffic and all of that, uses user data to recommend the best routes for stuff. Like, it's using proprietary mapping technology for this. When you look at something that costs this much, it's not necessarily trying to reach everyone, which is fine. But the people that are going to spend this much on a product, they're going to want something that is really, really good. Something that is extremely fleshed out and is nicer than anything else they could get. But they didn't do that. The app, from what I've seen, is pretty subpar. The helmet itself, I've heard, is on the level of something like the Built brand, which you can get at Cycle Gear for helmets. That's super cheap. I didn't get that feel from it when I wore it, but who knows? I'm not in their warehouses seeing what's being used. I'm not seeing how it's being built. I'm not testing the helmet, so I don't know how it's performing against other helmets. So I don't know. That's just what I've heard. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm not sure. But again, that goes to the point that if you're paying that much money, you're someone who wants the best of the best. So they have to provide that for that price. You're going to want to get something that's like a top-of-the-line Arai, Bell, or Shoei kind of helmet, and they just didn't do that. So again, I don't have an issue with the price. I just have an issue that their fleshed out proprietary helmet, wow, I couldn't really say that word well, their proprietary helmet didn't live up to the price tag that they had. Again, not because of what they were trying to do, but that they didn't do what they said they were going to do better than what would be possible if they did something open source. But yeah, after this news came out, a lot of people are just coming out like, I told you so, this company sucks, this product sucks, and that's not really my reaction to this. My reaction to this is, they had a good concept. They even had a pretty good product that if they ironed everything out with the app and made sure they had good mapping software and everything was super high quality, it probably would have been successful, or at least relatively so. The issue is that they completely botched communication and they took way too long to come to market with this thing. I saw one comment on Reddit that said they were too early, that this technology will end up happening, but they were too early for their own good, which happens with a lot of different technologies, like freaking electric cars. Electric car companies have existed before. They just haven't succeeded. And I think that has a little bit more to do with the car industry and big manufacturers trying to shut that stuff down in the past, but that's a different conversation. But my point being, too early for their own good is a valid argument in some cases, but I don't think that was their problem. I still think it was really just communication and taking too long. I'm headed over to this spot that I took pictures at a while back, right here. I put these pictures on Instagram. I'm gonna go down a bit and turn around. And another argument to the pricing point, you know, you look at something like Tesla. The first car that they came out with was over $100,000. It was based on the Lotus Elise. And it wasn't meant to be for everyone. It was meant to be a proof of concept car that reached people that were willing to spend that kind of money for the first to market kind of product that the company offered. Their goal was to get these things out on the road, prove their concept, and then they came out with the Model S years later. Now they have the Model X, which is even cheaper, and then they have, what is it, the Model 3, that's essentially their larger mass market electric car. Like, that's what Skully could have done, but they just didn't handle things well at all. But I want to know what you guys think. This is more a conversation. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think of the product itself. Let me know what you think caused the company to fail. And I say fail we don't know that they're shutting down. We don't know that they're not going to try to deliver all of the helmets to the people that back the campaign. They said that they're still going to try to do that, at least publicly. That's what they're saying. And there hasn't been an official word on the company shutting down, but that's how it's looking right now. So let me know what you guys think. That's all I got for you guys today, but I am going to take a look at these views. Oh, look at that. Alright guys, see you on Friday. By the way, speaking of products, I just got a replacement for my old riding shoes, which I tore up trying to go off-roading with them. These are the Alpine Stars Faster, which is the sequel to the ones that I had before. I had the Fast Lane before, and I used those things for 3 years. 3 years, I think. I absolutely love them. So I got the replacement for those, and these are awesome. These are the vented version. They make a regular version and then a waterproof version. But living in Texas, I needed something that stayed a little bit cooler. So yeah, if you want to see these, I'll have a link in the description. And they only cost $150, which is actually pretty good for what you're getting. So if you want to check them out, I'll have those in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Friday. Later. Hey, what's up guys, Motonosity here, and welcome to my CRF 450R Supermoto build series.